I come here tonight with a pervasive sense of sadness. How did we get to this point when for years we've been co-workers, neighbors, and friends? Undoubtedly, this board is comprised of people that are dedicated to one thing, making the town of Fallsburg the best it can be, evidenced by the effort, the time, and the commitment donated to the people of the many hamlets that make up the fabric of our community. Unfortunately, we are experiencing the collateral damage of an investigation gone wrong, of destructive decisions that have tarnished the reputation of this township and the dedicated teachers. We have been quiet throughout this investigation because we didn't want to interfere with the process of finding the guilty party responsible for leaving drugs and paraphernalia in BCES, deciding to keep quiet rather than to spout off in print, social media, television, and radio, purposely misleading listeners about the details of this case. Those details include implying the needles were found on December 20th, a day when the building was full of visitors due to a holiday party, were tied to these guys on February 11th. Now it's time to clear the air for these brave men whose lives are forever changed by the way this case was handled. Men who voluntarily subjected themselves to follicle testing and have negative results to prove. I would be remiss if I didn't ask the following questions of you, Police Chief Williams, who brought this national attention to our doorstep. Why did you feel the need to have these men report to the police station from their place of employment instead of contacting them on Monday when you discovered the alleged heroin packet? You knew early on Monday who these men were that innocently used the men's room, but, by the way, not a staff bathroom like the media was told. Why weren't they contacted immediately if you're concerned for the welfare of these innocent babies in our care? Why would you allow all these suspects to come back into the building on Tuesday morning, the 11th of February, only to be called down to the police station one by one without any idea of why they were reporting there, being left to surmise that something had happened to their wives, their children, their family members, if not to terrorize them into confessing to their supposed guilt? Why would you allow Officer Gonzalez to continue the interrogation in an elementary school the next day when clearly this was a police matter that belonged in the police station? Whose idea was this? We deserve an answer today since this has impacted the morale of an entire building and this community. Why would you accuse the union of interfering with their decision to give urine samples when you knew that you had no tests available for them when they initially agreed to comply? Why would you allow Officer Gonzalez to suggest that they provide a urine sample in a principal's bathroom when you knew that these samples would not even be admissible, probably? Is this the best that you could do with 2 months' preparation? Why would you agree to comment on an ongoing case to the media when you, a professional, knew how these men and this union would be vilified by the public? Or was that your intention? Did that help the situation at all? When you started, if you aren't guilty, then give up some urine, you trampled on the very law that you swore to uphold the Constitution. And we find it hypocritical that you blame the union for advising these men to seek counsel, or as you put it, lawyer up, when it was the SRO Gonzalez who read them their Miranda rights. And in case anybody needs reminding, it states you have the right to remain silent and you have a right to an attorney. Why did you allow Officer Gonzalez to interrogate and to continue to investigate this case when Detectives Pavesi and Hartman were available to do the job they were hired to do? Perhaps if you had turned this case over to the detectives, we would not be in this predicament today. You allowed Officer Gonzalez to assume a leadership role in this investigation when it should have been you. This completely severed the trust between the staff and the SRO Gonzalez. And as you know firsthand, and I know, as a former SRO officer, this is crucial to the working relationship. The perception of him as a force against us was never more evident in his decision to perform surveillance and spot check the funeral procession of one of our beloved teachers. Not only was it in poor taste, but it is a reflection of his desperate need to win. Win what? Is anybody winning in this mess? I don't know the final outcome of this investigation, but I do know that we stand by our initial decision to protect the constitutional rights of our members. This is not a small lesson in a social studies unit. This is a life lesson that allowed us the opportunity to teach our students by our actions, not just our words. And I would be remiss, however, if I did not take a moment on behalf of the union to thank District Attorney Jim Farrell and Board of Education President Joe Kalura, who reminded the public of the due process provided by the Constitution in this great country. Thank you for your time.